Satnam, I'm Nirvair Khalsa, and here we are in the month of May, and I'm sitting in front of this bush that's flowering. I can hear the bees that are just getting a good start on the summer, and it's really lovely to have spring be in full bloom here in New Mexico. We're going to do a fantastic Kriya this month. It's going to be something that's coming in out of a book that we're going to release this year and this summer, which is our third edition of the teachings of Yogi Bhajan. And this is called Merging into Infinity. Hargopalkar once again has done a lot of research in the Yogi Bhajan library of teachings to come up with Yogi Bhajan's sayings and concepts and ideas around death. It's amazing. It really is an exceptional study, because if you have life, you have death. One of these kriyas that are going to be in this book is what we're going to practice today. It's something that Yogi Bhajan taught in 1978, and it uses the mantra Waheguru. Both in May and in June, we're going to be working with the mantra in different forms of Waheguru. It's a fantastic expression. Just as a very beginning student I was of Yogi Bhajan's, I was really taken with it, and I still am. The idea of Guru, which means your movement from darkness to light, and Wahe, which is basically not translatable. It's like, wow, when people say it, it's an exclamation of ecstasy. And what it really emphasizes in Kundalini Yoga, as taught by Yogi Bhajan, is the fact that it's your experience that really matters. It's your experience of your own consciousness. It's your experience of your infinite nature that really creates and it's very Aquarian, it really creates your philosophical being and your way you can navigate being a spiritual being, having a human experience in this incarnation. When I was, this morning when I was going for my walk, and I like to walk every morning, I do Charan Jap, and that is, I do mantra with footsteps, and sometimes I use mudras. I have several different favorite mantras that I use when I walk. And so I was walking around our house, and they're doing some road construction. And so a man pulled up in one of these giant pickups, full-size bed, 4 doors, a little bit older pickup, but looked really well cared for and looked very nice. It was actually immaculate, which is amazing in, kind of the dirt and dusty roads of New Mexico. So he got out of his pickup, and I greeted him, and I said, "Wow, that's a great-looking truck." And he said, "Yeah, but," and then he started pointing out a little scratch here, a little dent here, this kind of thing, which of course I never noticed. He's the only one that noticed. And so I did say to him, I said, it's a beautiful truck, and no one can see these things but you. He says, "Yeah, well, I guess it's a work truck." He was justifying. It made me think, it was a great lesson for me on how we can be so self-critical in our environments when we're not really looking at the big picture. We're really looking at the confinement of what it means to actually really work through karmas in this incarnation. And it's something that Yogi Bhajan talked about in this lecture, being a prisoner of the rib cage, and how it's in this human incarnation you can relate to everything that restricts you, everything that confines you. But in order to have that balance, to really be in yoga, what you need to do is to also concentrate on the polarity of that, which is your unconfined nature, your vast nature, your conscious awareness of your infinity. And that's what this mantra is all about with this mudra. He said a couple things about it. One, it cures all diseases. That's one thing. The other thing he said is that it works on taking your ego from its confined state and working with this ego stance that you have. That's why I was kind of analyzing this man with his truck. He had, all he could do was think about what other people were thinking about him and his identity with the truck, when actually it was quite beautiful. So it's re-identifying the ego with the infinite expanded part of the self. He also said that this will allow you to be a sage. Sage, and that is to know and to be able to really to understand and be able to express wisdom. Actually, what he said is, just take any person, they'll do this for 31 minutes for 90 days, and they'll be able to recite scriptures, shastras, as though they actually really know them. To me, it's that you would have that experience of consciousness where you become in flow with those great minds in the past from the yogic teachings and the yogic scriptures. Anyway, it's a fantastic meditation, and it uses this mudra. First, of course, you're going to tune in, Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. You're going to take your left hand and you're going to place it in a fist. And then you're going to take the right hand and wrap it around the left hand so it's closed and confined. The left thumb goes down. The right thumb goes over the top. You're using your ego to confine. He actually said something interesting, which was a sensation. He said, when you're in this position, your brain shrinks a little bit. Which is like, I do this, it's like, I was experimenting, I said, I had this sensation of something, when I'm doing this, and then when I do this, it's not there, which is fascinating to me. But anyway, you're doing this confinement so that you can concentrate on that infinity nature. Waheguru, 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 Wahegyo. That's the mantra. So it's 3 Wahegurus and then 1 Wahegyo. Gyo, what's dear to me, what relates to my soul. That exclamation of the ecstasy of consciousness that is right deep within my soul. And then you're going to chant this mantra 5 times on a breath, holding the mudra in this position comfortably about heart center height with the neck and neck lock. And then you have a choice of 3 positions for your drishti, for your eye position. Either you can be gazing at the brow point, you can be gazing at what he called the rishi point, rishinat. I have my hair tied up on the top of my head, which is basically covering the soft fontanelle of a baby. So you roll your eyes up, all the way up with the eyes closed. Or you can have your eyes just a little bit open and gazing at the tip of the nose, both sides of the nose in equal view. You can experiment with one of these other drishtis, with the hands in this position. And when you're chanting the mantra, you want to really use your full breath. It takes a little adjustment, a few rounds of the mantra, so that you're just really empty of air, so that you're actually placing pressure on these internal organs, gallbladder, spleen, pancreas. That's what he talked about. Because that pressure will allow blood flow to get back into them. This is like an 8th body, pranic body, and 10th body, because we're using the mantra Waheguru Kriya. And so you have to not go too fast and not go too slow. All right? If I was going too fast, it'd be like this. Waheguru, 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 that kind of thing. So you're not really enunciating. You get kind of a nice buzz going. But he always emphasized really moving, your tongue, your mouth, the muscles in your face, so that when you say that Wah-hey, you smile a little bit. Wah-hey, Guru. And so you don't want to go too slow either, like this. Waheguru, 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 Wahegyo, Waheguru, because I just ran out of breath, all right? So it's somewhere in between 5 repetitions of the mantra, and we'll do that for 11 minutes. And he said, don't do this longer than 31 minutes, all right? That's the maximum, 31 minutes. But we'll do it this month for 11 minutes. We'll work with our egos, to make them so that we can identify with our higher selves. We'll make ourselves healthy, because May is a great month when your natural resistance is down. Yogi Bhajan talked about this, so that you can keep yourself healthy. He gave that whole recipe for clove water during this time. And so we'll keep ourselves healthy, we'll experience the ecstasy of consciousness, and we'll really enjoy this May doing this Kriya together. And we'll look forward to that book this summer, Merging with Infinity, Yogi Bhajan's teachings on death. Sat Nam.